about a time before Europe. Tell me what you were doing before Europe, how you heard about the program, and why you decided to join.
So prior to Europe, I was enrolled full-time at Berkeley City College. I was studying business administration. I was working towards getting my associate's degree and eventually wanted to transfer to a 4-year to do business administration. At the time, I was also working at California Pizza Kitchen. There I developed a lot of communication skills, a lot of time management and organizational skills that have helped me in while being in program in terms of making sure that I can complete all of my assignments in a timely manner. I did hear about Europe from a current student that's also in the program, from Imani Hicks. She went to Metropolitan High School, and they had, I believe So came and spoke to their school, and she told me about the program. It immediately intrigued me because I was like, okay, in technical skills, it's amazing to learn that in such a short period of time and to be able to get an internship as well. I decided to join because at that point in my life, I wasn't doing so well in school because I wasn't focused and I wasn't feeling I got enough support from my teachers. And so I decided that I needed to try something different. And when I found out that Europe was supportive and they had a structure that helped students to aim towards success, I decided that that was the place that I needed to be, and that was what I felt would help me to move forward in my career.
Thanks. Why do you want to work in tech?
I would like to work in tech because I feel like me being 20 years old, I feel like I've grown with the technology. So I remember being a child, like playing my little Game Boy and waiting for the dial-up internet so I can do a research assignment, and I feel like technology is so innovative and it's so fast-moving and it's so fast-paced, and I enjoy change. I love changing. I love new sceneries. I love trying new things and not being afraid to tackle a new task. I love to take that initiative, and so I felt like being in technology, I'll be able to be around such innovation and such creativity that it will constantly keep my mind, grasping towards new and exciting different things. Yeah.
Great. So, Lena, what was your biggest challenge or growth area during learning and development? What did you do to overcome this challenge, and what specifically will you do to plan ahead and ensure you are set up for success on an internship in this area?
Okay, so my biggest challenge was actually time management. So towards the beginning of the L&D phase, I was still working at California Pizza Kitchen, part-time about 3 days out of the week. And I was having a hard time managing going to work right after program at 4:30 and still being able to get all of my deliverables completed on time. So what I did was I bought a planner, and I would write down the second an instructor would say the deliverable, I would write it down. I would write the time, but I would write it on the day before it was due so that I would be mindful of prioritizing and making sure that I got it done before the due date, so then I wasn't stressing the day of if I had to go to work that same afternoon. So, for example, I had the narrative speech was due on, I believe it was a Wednesday, and I had to work that Tuesday night, and I wanted to make sure that I had time to edit it and make sure that it was thorough, and I had time to practice it with someone as well. So what I did was that Monday night, I had written in my planner, I wrote down that it was due Tuesday. So Monday night, I ended up working on it. I was able to practice it with my mom and practice it with a couple of colleagues as well. And I was able to fine-tune it and get most of the more difficult and time-consuming part of it done so that Tuesday night I could go to work and still be home and practice it a few more times and be secure in my delivery.
Thank you. Last one. So, Lena, what job description did you look at when you were going through your IRA packet?
The project coordination.
And why do you believe you're a strong candidate for a project management internship seat?
I believe that I'm a strong candidate for that position because I have great organizational skills, public speaking skills. I've become proficient in the Microsoft Office suite. I enjoy organizing things and putting things together and making them orderly. I'm a perfectionist in that kind of sense. So I feel like my skill set will definitely help to contribute towards the tasks that are required to complete the job. from previous experience working at California Pizza Kitchen, I've learned to multitask. In a high environment, there's a lot of activity going on. You need to be able to stay focused on, specific assignments so that you can get it all done in a timely manner. And working as a takeout specialist at California Pizza Kitchen, it was my duty to always multitask because I would have multiple orders, and I wanted to make sure that I'm talking to customers, getting their food out in a timely manner, as well as handling deliveries that had to be taken. So at that job, I was able to learn organization, time management, and multitasking for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna jump into the scenario-based questions now. So imagine you were asked to organize a room with a lot of tech equipment. What tools and processes would you use to keep track of what's there and what gets taken out?
Okay, so first thing I would do if I'm organizing anything is I would take an inventory of everything that's in the room, and then divide it up between what should be kept and what should not be kept. I would organize it based off of its function or based off of size. So I would have like bins that I would put certain, so if it was like, I don't know, Ethernet cords, I would put them all in one container. If it were servers or if it were computers and laptops, it would all be in one assigned section, and I would section off by larger items to one side and the smaller items to the left, or to the left. And I would have an inventory of each compartment. So each category that I would put everything in, I would have it listed and written down so that if anyone were to walk in, they would know exactly where to find something, and it would be efficient enough for anyone to be able to find something.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next section, we will ask about specific growth areas. Okay, so here's a scenario. You have a remote manager who is always busy and difficult to reach. You have significant downtime or internship on your internship and are not sure what to do. Walk us through an immediate and longer-term plan to address this concern. Be specific.
Okay. So in this situation, I would talk to my other coworkers and see what they're working on after I've completed my assignments, and see if maybe they need any assistance and if there's anything that maybe I could possibly learn from them. Since I do have so much downtime and my manager isn't as reachable, I would make sure that everything that I have to do is handled, and I would definitely reach out to my coworkers. If it were possible, I would set up a meeting at some point in time with my manager to see if there are any skills that I should probably know or learn in order to be successful in that position, and take my time to research them and see if there's anything I can do on my own, and ask for any, like websites, any tools or anything like that that he or she has found useful to them, as well as definitely using my resources. So Googling to see if there's anything that's, sort of keeping up to date with what's going on within the company, keeping up to date with what's new with like Microsoft Office or Excel, or and making sure that I am well aware of everything that's, making sure that I'm well aware of everything that I need in order to complete my job.
Great. So, what is your career goal immediately after graduation and 3 to 5 years after graduation?
Okay, so immediately after graduation, I hope to obtain a job at the place that I am interning at. Otherwise, I would like to work for about a year, maybe 2 years, so that I can save money so that I can eventually go back to school. To go into my 3 to 5 year plan, I hope to go back to school and get my degree in business. I hope to one day own my own business, so I would like to have that backbone, and I would like to have all the connections and all the resources that I would obtain at my internship and at my job, so that I can be successful in my long-term career goals. I would like to open a business that is like a community center for youth that provides activities that they can learn, so like coding and like photography and music and things like that, so that they have other outlets, so that they're not feeling like they can only go to school and not be happy going to school, but they go to school, they learn what they need to learn, and they also have this fun activity and skill that's usable and applicable to many different things.
Great. So we have time for one more question before our tech demo. Emily, do you mind asking it so that Monet can do the tech demo?
Oh, sure. So tell me about a time when you were in a leadership position and faced a challenge. How was it and how did you respond? Or what was it and how did you respond?
Okay. As I was working at California Kids Kitchen, I worked there for 2 years. So as a host, my job is to seat guests and to make sure that if they have any questions that they're answered. At this point in time, my manager had stepped out of the building. So he left me in charge to make sure that everything was running well in the restaurant. And if, excuse me, and if the servers had any questions or any dilemmas, he left me with the responsibility of making sure that whatever their issue it was handled. We had a customer that came in and he had been in previously and said that he was missing a credit card slip, and typically a credit card slip, and he had also left his credit card. Typically, when someone leaves something, it gets placed in the back office. So what I did was I spoke with him and I let him know, my manager's out right now. I don't have the access to see if I have it, but if I could take, your name and your phone number, I'll give you a call as soon as I know anything. He wasn't really happy about that because he needed his card immediately, which I, of course, understood. So I had two options. I could either, tell him, there's nothing I could do about it, or I could find another solution. So what I did was I found my manager's phone number. I gave him a call since he had only stepped out for a little bit, and I let him know what was going on. And I said, this customer, he's not happy with, what he's getting, and it would be great if you could come back so that I can fix the situation. He agreed. He came back immediately. And the customer was very grateful and thankful to me for being so proactive and making sure that his problem was solved. And he ended up getting his credit card. He got his credit card slips and everything